Okay, guys, this is part two of an anonymous subscriber's story of childhood abuse. I was never allowed to have a normal childhood. She kept me locked in the house all the time while the other neighborhood kids were out playing. I was only allowed to play with a couple neighborhood friends, very limitedly compared to everyone else. Even when I got older, like high school, she would never let me have a real social life. She would always treat me much younger than I actually was. Yeah, that's tough. When I was a teen and found a couple friends to hang out with outside of school, she would basically set it up like a play date and only let me hang out for a couple of hours. I would ask for more time and she'd say, "Well, I gave you 4 or 5 hours the other day. I give you lots of time." Everything had to be so controlled with her. I developed severe social anxiety. I bet you did. Yeah. God damn, man. I mean, it's so sad, guys. That's why it's so important to heal. Because that's the only way I can see that we're not going to be reincarnated back into this shit. And, if you didn't suffer these things, man, could you imagine, coming back and having to be enslaved as a child? I mean, that would suck. That would fucking suck. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to come back and deal with this shit again. No fucking way. And I'm sure she doesn't either. And that's why we have to put ourselves first, because as the way I see it, as long as we're attached and we're still reliant on the things of this world and placing the importance of the things of this world and such a high priority and high order of us, and delegating, denigrating ourselves down to such a low level, like we're literally to go through life with the mindset in the belief system that you're here to work, to consume, and then consume to have to work, and then that's your whole life, and that's what it's based around. I mean, guys, you have to come to terms with all these things and think deeply on them, because the way I see it, if we die with that type of mindset, when we die, of course, we're so attached. We'll have so many attachments in this fucking hellhole that why wouldn't we want to come back here? So this healing is extremely important because, man, this is so sad. I mean, to fucking deal with this shit, man. I had no social skills whatsoever. Yeah, because how are you supposed to develop any kind of social skills when you're terrorized constantly? Back to when I was more grammar school aged. My dad, that barely came around, witnessed her beating me a few times and did pretty much nothing about it. Yeah, he was a real waste of life, wasn't he? When I turned 18, and then how does that make you feel? The other adult, it's like, because so that abuse just gets normalized. It's like it's normalized through everybody and everything. Everybody that you went to as a child just acted like your abuse was like, it's okay. So that's what I'm saying. When we go through years and years of daily abuse like that, we forget 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of the abuse we actually suffered through is just stored away so deeply and so back up in our subconscious that we can't even recall it. When I turned 18, I got the fuck out of there because legally there was nothing she could do. She would make threats that I found out about. Somebody told me how she said she wanted to legally take control of me and my life, how Britney Spears' father did. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like it make you look like you are incapable of being responsible and that your health is at risk and that you need a power of, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a power of attorney type of deal where they have, control over your finances, and therefore if they control your finances, they control everything about you, because they're only giving you enough money for you to get to work and back, then what else can you do? She said I was out of control. She would constantly accuse me when I was younger of doing drugs, drinking, and smoking. I never actually did any of that until later in life, and once in high school I drank. Yeah, to be constantly accused of something that you didn't even do, it's so sad, man. It's so abusive, it's beyond It's beyond comprehension how abusive it is. These were an escape and to cope, also because I wanted to finally be like the other kids and fit in. Being under the influence also helped with social anxiety. Yeah, me too, man. That I had severe social. The only way I was able to deal with it was because you get around people and it's like you think people can see your abuse, like you have so much shame and guilt, and you never know what's right and wrong to do, and you're always watching your P's and Q's, and you don't know how other people are, like you have no clue who you're around, if they're gonna beat you or if they're gonna judge you and make fun of you and mock you. So yeah, the social anxiety is terrible, and alcohol is perfect for that. As a kid, going through those things, alcohol is such a relief, man. She would accuse me in middle school of having sex and being pregnant all the time. She would call me a slut. Yeah, and that's the other thing. When I was running around as a teenager, when I could get away from my mom, when I got a job and everything, and I would sneak out and go hang around other teenagers in town here. That's how their parents called them. All their moms called their daughters sluts and bitches and whores and everything else, and slapped the shit out of them. I mean, it was terrible. It was so pervasive. That's what I'm saying. Like when you actually recognize this shit, it was so fucking pervasive when I was a kid. It was unfucking real. It's just nobody talks about it. Nobody fucking talks about it. And when they do, now that they're all grown up in their 40s, they all laugh about it. They're like, oh yeah, childhood, oh God, I'm glad that's over. That's how abusive some of our childhoods were and how normalized it was. I never even kissed a boy. Yeah, so she's doing all that to you, and you had never even kissed a boy. She would make me take pregnancy tests, and when they came up negative, she would calm down a little. I mean, goddamn, would all drive somebody's anxiety through the roof. I remember her buying a test in the store once, and I was so overwhelmed and stressed at what she was doing that I threw up in the cash out line. She said, "See, you're pregnant. You're embarrassing me." How disgusting. Like, and she's at the cash register with you, a young child, and you throw up, and she's got a pregnancy test, and nobody knows that pregnancy test is for you. So, and she comes right out and embarrasses you in front of everybody and says that it's obviously for you. I mean, how disgusting, man. These people are worthless. These people need to be in prison. These people are guilty of so much abuse. It's unbelievable. When I got home and took it, of course, it turned out negative. She started being nice, like nothing happened, and she started placing an order and asked me what I wanted from Applebee's. Yeah, so disgusting, man. When I was a teen in early 20s, she accused me of having sex with a much older man that was like a father to me just because he rescued me from her. She'd say I like older men. Even though these things weren't true, she made me feel shame and disgust with myself. Yep. And that's all they care about. Yeah, and that goes to show, when you were in your early 20s, you were still associated with her. That's great. That's the hold that these narcissists, like, you would think at 18, it'd be like, see you, bitch, fuck you, never talking to you again, getting the fuck away from you. But we find ourselves that control, that psychological control they have over us, that mental control that CPTSD does to us. That attachment, that bond, that trauma bond we have to them is so disgusting, man. These people are so disgusting. They are the worst abusers. And that's why I try to say, guys, like when I do these videos on child predators, like sexual abusers and everything, and everybody's like, I'd kill the person that hurt my daughter. And it's like, motherfucker, yeah, why don't we come out with your shit and how much you verbally, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually abuse your child. Don't sit here and act like you're a better person because you didn't rape your kid physically. You raped them psychologically, you raped them mentally, you raped them fucking emotionally, you raped them verbally, you raped them goddamn spiritually. You raped them every which way except for putting your dick in them. So don't sit here and act like you're a good person and you're virtue signaling how you don't like child predators. You are no different than a child predator, you cocksuckers. Even though these things weren't true, she made me feel shame, guilt, and disgust with myself. She was always screaming at me and accusing me of things that I didn't have a clue about. A lot of the times she'd be saying, "You know what you did," and I really didn't know. Yeah, and that is so abusive, man. That right there is such a mind fuck. I hated. That was like, oh my god, man, that's such a fucking mind fuck. When your parent accuses you constantly of things and that you didn't, not only did you not do, but then they take it a step further and they say, you know what you did, and you're just sitting there. So you're constantly always thinking like, what did I do? What did I do? Constantly living in the past, constantly afraid, constantly on guard, constantly in fear, fight, flight, or freeze. I remember when I was a young kid, her and my absent father would laugh at me. One time when I was little, I got my foot stuck between the headboard of a bed. I was crying, trying to get it out, and they both laughed and said that was God punishing me. It made me even more scared. I was terrified of God. I wanted to cut her completely out so bad to this day, but I'm scared to because she's such a crazy bitch and I don't know what she's capable of. She's capable of dick. She can't do fucking dick to you. Nothing. There's nothing in the fucking... All it is a psychological hold that she has placed on you. That is it. That bitch can't do a goddamn thing to you. And we're about to get into her story deeper here, and you're going to see what she's talking about. But listen, what you need to do is you need to start documenting all this, and you need to go and get yourself a lawyer and find out from a lawyer what your course of action is to be able to get cease communication, whatever that may be. Every state has different things, different laws, whatever. But you can get emergency stop orders. You can get a no contact order. There's so many different things, and each state's different. So what you need to do is you need to write all these things down. You and your husband, you guys need to notate in detail all the abuse. Not only is that going to help you guys, finally, because I don't know if you guys have not sat down together and gone over all of these things and gotten this validation, at least between each other. I know it's difficult. It's like life's hard enough. You got kids. It's like, fuck, man, but if you guys sit down on a weekend over a course of months, just an hour a weekend, however long you guys can stomach it for, and get these things out, type them out, dates, times, when things happened, whatever kind of proof you have, and put them on on your Microsoft Word, and put them on paper, whatever, and then go get a lawyer, and then get that lawyer to file stop clauses, whatever it is, to get no contact, to where these cocksuckers can't even call you, can't write you a letter, can't be within 1,000 feet of your fucking ass, can't nothing. That's what you need to do, because they can't do anything to you. It's all psychological games and manipulation and bullshit. It's all lies. They still are trying. What is happening is every time you think of them, you're being triggered back to your childhood because you're not fully healed yet. So you guys need to get on this healing journey. I know you guys have talked, we've talked before. I know you guys have, you and your husband have open communication. I know you guys lean on each other, but you guys need to type this out while you're talking to each other with nothing else around, silence, just you and him, and type it out or write it down. Dates, times, scenarios, what happened, and get it out of you. Because what by not doing that, by just reminiscing constantly, but knowing that these things are always affecting different areas of your life, by taking that time, you are proving to you and your husband that you guys are worth this. You guys are worth figuring out how to get peace of mind. You guys are proving to yourselves, your husband is proving to you and himself that you guys are worth it. That you guys are worth taking the time to notate all this down, and that you are doing everything in your power to do what you have to do to get to heal and to get your health and well-being and your sanity back, and get away and break that hold, them chains that these people have placed on y'all. Because you guys are going to see, it's not just her. She's just talking about her childhood. Very briefly, she goes into her husband's childhood towards the end here. So you're going to see. They got double trouble here. She has threatened to call the cops on me, call CPS, or take me to court for grandparents' rights. And that's why you need to establish. You need to go to a lawyer. You need to get all this written down and notated and go to a fucking lawyer. Research it online. Save yourself money. You can research most of this stuff online now. And then, just go to a lawyer and be like, okay, this is what I need. And then, so, just figure it out. You guys can do this. You spent all of this time reminiscing. You've spent all this time leaning on each other verbally. Get it out of your heads. Get it out of your heads together. Spend that time together. Get it out of your heads onto paper, onto the computer. And then take the step with the law to be able to make sure that anytime she calls CPS, anytime she just tries pulling that shit, she can't. How does she even know anything? She can't even get a hold of you guys. She's violating her court order of no contact. Okay. Because my sister went through that. My mom, my evil, nasty, disgusting mother did that to my sister. My sister tried running away finally at like 25, between 25 and 28. She ran away to another state. And my mom fucking did the same goddamn nasty, disgusting thing to her and made sure and used the law on her side to be able to get grandparental rights to her daughter. Now, that situation's different because, and I think the only way that happened is because my sister had made the mistake of allowing her daughter to be around my mom all the time. So my mom used all that past time that she had spent with her daughter as justification to not allow my sister to, because it would have been abandonment or something like that. But it was because my mom had established a lot of time with her daughter already. So that's the only reason she got But your mom, she hasn't been around those fucking kids. She can't get any grandparental rights. She's out of her fucking mind. She's trying to scare you guys. That's impossible. Unless she has established that she's gotten them every other weekend and holidays and during the summertime, and she has it all notated and written down and provable, she can't do shit. She's a fucking blind piece of manipulative shit is what she is. So she threatened you guys with all that, and if you stop being in contact with her and not let her see the kids, she can't do anything. She has no rights. Unless they spent years of going over there every other weekend and years of seeing her every summer and and she's got pictures of all the time she spent and all the things, receipts for things she bought them and all of this stuff. She can't do dick. That's the only way my mom got grandparental rights over my sister. Because she had all that established. Not only did my mom have that time spent with my sister's daughter, but my mom was her whole life she kept receipts for everything, she kept proof of everything, she kept documentation of everything, she kept all of that. So I'm just letting you know that your mom, if she never spent any quality time with these kids and can prove it, she can't do shit in court. Nothing as far as grandparental rights go. My kids don't deserve this. I'm afraid she's going to cause more trauma, chaos, and drama for my family and I. You goddamn right she is. She's going to fucking make sure she does. My kids don't deserve this. She's constantly using my kids against me. She will try to shame and guilt me. You need to cut contact with this. You need to cut contact with her. Completely, 100%. She can't do anything to you. You guys need to get this thing straightened out. You and your husband, get it all on paper. Start getting an emergency order or whatever you can, no contact order, whatever it is in your state, and make sure this bitch is not allowed to even fucking think about you guys anymore. She said things like, I'm a bad mom and she feels sorry for my kids. Of course she does. Of course she does. She's still controlling you. She will use Disney World as a tactic. Yeah, my kid, yeah. My kids want to visit there very bad. I feel bad my kids want to go, but I don't want them going for obvious reasons, and especially with her coming along. You don't feel bad about Disney World. Look, you are giving your kids everything they need at home. You're spending that quality time with them. You're being open and honest. You're giving them a safe space. That's what your kids need. Your kids don't need dopamine hits, sugar, Disney World, entertainment, and pedophilia. They don't need all that shit. They want it because it's got nice, pretty colors and it makes lots of noise and it looks fun. But that shit goes away. You need to concentrate on you guys. You need to get your bills down to zero, and you need to cut this bitch off, and you need to not worry about giving your kids all of these things. You need to concentrate. All your attention, energy, and focus needs to be on concentrating and making your home Disney World. And not in an entertaining kind of way, in a safe space, conducive environment for biological life and a young child's development. You do that, they of course, that it's just natural for them to say those things because they're influenced constantly by other kids, by entertainment, by TV, by all of these things that entertain them. But I mean, you go in the fucking store, they got all the candy at the front of the aisles. You go in the goddamn stores, they got all the toys there. It's all manipulation. You guys need to pull these kids and you need to keep them as close to you as you can, not in a clinging manner, not in a crazy, like, get away from my kid kind of manner, but in them understanding that what it means to be human and what really matters. So it's not, so when you're doing this at home with your kids, you're not doing it in an authoritarian manner. You're doing it in a loving, you are parenting your kids the way you should have been parented. And not by spoiling them with Disney World and fucking candy and goddamn, all the newest technology and going out with friends. That isn't fucking spoiling your kid. That isn't what you needed. What you needed was a safe home. In order to figure out what you need to get deeper into your child work, into healing your inner child. Into recognizing and accepting everything for what it is and seeing how your abuse, the abuse you went through, how that narcissistic abuse, every system that we live under in these sick, toxic cultures and social structures are the exact same mirror image of your abuse. They are all meant to strip you of your authority, your power, your essence, your everything, your dignity, everything, and make you subservient and do what you have to do for a fake currency to afford their plastic bullshit and their shit that wears away, and you got to be on their hamster wheel. So what you have to do is come to terms with recognize and accept that our abuse, all of us who have been abused like this terribly, that abuse is the same pervasive abuse that's in our work cultures, that's in our education system, that's in our governmental systems, that's placed throughout every part of society today. It's the same thing. And then by coming to terms with all that, recognizing and accepting it, you'll be able to pull back. You'll be able to detach easier. It makes the detachment phase easier because you'll see, oh my God, I'm not detaching from breads and circuses and distraction, entertainment, and dopamine hits. I'm pulling back from what's been enslaving me and stealing my birthright and stripping me of my power and dignity my whole life. And then it makes a lot fucking easier. She will say, oh, these poor kids, every kid should get to experience Disney. You did when you were younger. Yeah. No, you need to cut that bitch off, man. You need to never talk to that stupid, ignorant fucking predator again for the rest of your life. You need to bury her. She needs to be buried in your mind. Buried. Just dead as a doornail to you. You need to get her completely cut off. She is a toxic, toxic, toxic thing. And she's infiltrating. Even if you guys are only talking to her once a month or whatever it is, she's infiltrating. She has as much control over you as if she was right there. You need to cut her off. You need to take that step. You did when you were younger. We moved far away to get away from not only her, but also my spouse's abusive family. She will send me condescending texts like, I don't understand why you have to be so far. You got to cut her off. She's abusing you. This is abuse. What she's doing is abuse. She's gaslighting you. She was a horrible, terrible, abusive mother in every way to you. You're not abusing your kids in any way and trying to fix things and trying to break generational curses. And she's gaslighting you and telling you you're a terrible parent and stressing you out. You need to cut her off. The Matrix works through these people to crush you, to keep you addicted, to keep you on dopamine hits, to keep you needing distractions, to keep you so fucking stressed that if you don't participate in its system, you're going to kill yourself or end up in prison or the loony bin. I don't understand why you have to be so far. I just don't get it. I feel so sorry for your kids. They have a grandmother out there that loves them so much and they don't even know it. It's not fair. They probably don't even remember me. She doesn't love them. It's all about control. Even a couple years ago when we brought the kids to visit just to shut her up, she didn't even pay them attention when they were trying to talk to her and show her stuff. Yeah, she was rummaging around in her drawers and whatever else she was doing. She was focused on that and trying to talk to me probably to get info exactly, than even trying to spend the little time she got with the kids. Okay, so that was the last time she saw him. She has no grandparental rights. So don't worry about that. You need to get that fear out of your fucking head. Fear is the false emotion appearing real. Fear, F-E-A-R, false emotion appearing real. She has you emotionally and psychologically under her control, and you're afraid that she can get grandparental rights. And that's a completely unbased fear. That is never going to happen. This bitch hasn't seen them in 2 fucking years, at least. And God knows how long before that and how intermittently between that. But you need to document that. You need to document when you and your husband sit down. Okay, the last time my mom saw my kids, this is the reason why, because we were so stressed out and we just wanted to get her shut up. So we brought them around. She didn't even spend time with them. She didn't even talk to them. She didn't even do nothing. All she was doing was digging for information from us. This was over 2 years ago. That was the last time you need to document this stuff. Okay? Because any lawyer is going to be able to go right in and get you a no contact order. Because you need to save all her text messages. You need to show that lawyer, look, she's been harassing us. This is what she tells us. This is how she acts towards us. That is harassment. You will be able to get a no contact order. She'll also dangle her will in my face saying, you can't cut me off. I have all this money waiting for you when I die and you'll be so well off. Lady, I don't want anything you have to offer. Yep, and that's the way to look at it. Because what's she offering you? The things of this world, the slavery money, slave money. She's offering you paper currency. For all her abuse, she's going to give you paper currency at some point when she dies. And more than likely, the bitch will live till she's 95 years old. Especially feeding off your whole family's energy. She'll live till 100. She's alive and well. She's doing great. She's going to live forever. You're going to die before she fights. You're going to die of the stress and the worry of this bitch before she ever dies. She ain't giving you a fucking penny. We dread when birthdays and holidays approach because she has to see us cut her off. Then on top of it, my spouse's narc family pulls their shit too. I give her little crumbs, making it seem like we're going to get together sometime, just not now. I feel I got to keep in touch with her to keep her craziness at bay. Her and my spouse's nutbag mother have called CPS on me before when the kids were babies. It makes it worse because she's teamed up with my spouse's psychotic mother. Yeah, you got to cut this fucking stupid bitch off, man. You got to cut all of them off. You need to get orders on these people. You guys can get orders. You've been far enough away from them for long enough, and they can't prove any kind of attachment to these kids, and they can't prove that you've been, harming your kids. So any lawyer in there that is going to be able to establish, if you guys sit down and do the legwork of documenting all this, and then saving all your text messages, saving it all to a file that you can forward over to your lawyer, and then you'll have proof of harassment by these people. You'll have proof of them illegally calling CPS on you. You'll have proof of them illegally calling the cops on you. You'll have proof of all of this. You'll be able to get it all on paper. It will be all documented. And then you get those no contact orders, your life will change completely. These people can never bother you again, ever. And as soon as, if they find you or they hunt you down again, you take them straight to court, document it. Take it straight to fucking court. They'll get thrown in jail. You got to understand, this is no joke. But you have to get the upper hand, because right now they got the upper hand on you guys, because you haven't done the legwork yet. And that's fine. You guys are still young. I think you guys are in your 30s, so you're still young. At least, look, you're trying to figure this out, and you're doing the right thing. So I hope I'm giving you some helpful information, because this is just the facts, Jack. This is how it works. They have no grandparental rights. They are harassed. This is harassment. This is the definition of harassment. So you can get this. These are all the things that qualify for no contact orders. And your life is going to completely change. And then you guys can start healing. Because right now you guys are like, it's like beating your head against the wall. It's like closing the door on your foot. Because you're trying to heal. You guys are doing everything right. But you have these parasites that are clinging, that even though they're far away, they're still sucking their energy vampires. Just like with Sue's story of how she got away and her ex-husband was still sucking that energy. Her kids cut her off a year ago, but they're still sucking her energy and taking her emotions, and she cries over them and everything still. We have to be courageous and recognize and prove to ourselves that we're worthy. Ever since we were children, we've been told that we weren't enough. We've been told that we weren't good enough. We've been told that we were nothing. We've been told that we were liars. We've been told that we were evil. We've been told that we were bad by the same people who are evil, liars, and bad and abuse the fuck out of us. So it's confusing. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our minds right. We know, deep down, we know in our essence, but now we have to prove to ourselves. We have to do these things and prove it to ourselves that we are putting ourselves first. That is the most important thing we can do. That is the most important thing that we can do. Because, see, we haven't proven to ourselves. We've been poisoning ourselves with toxic foods, poisonous foods, our whole lives, our whole adult lives, with alcohol, with drugs, with, entertainment, with gratuitous sex, with, emotional ups and downs, with all of these things since we broke away from our abusers physically. But they still have, the reason we're doing these things because we've never faced these things, gotten to the root of the issue and put ourselves first. So now that we're doing it, that healing is coming. It's coming. Guys, there's no doubt in my mind. This is just the way it works. You are figuring it out. You are figuring out the processes by which you heal. But their healing is not, as long as you are attached to these people like this, that it's a block to your healing. It is going to stress you out and burn you the fuck out and cause so many goddamn problems for you that you won't even trace back to them. You'll think it's you because you've been told your whole life that you're the cause of it all. So that's what they're doing. They're psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually still abusing you, but from far away now. And it's not like they have to contact you every day. Once a month is fine. Once a month, they get a rise out of you. They get their little things, and they know it's going to affect you for the next 3 weeks, and then they'll get a hold of you again and get this ball rolling again on that abuse. They are energy vampires. Energy doesn't matter, guys. You can transfer. Energy transfer is like that. The speed of light. Boom! Energy transfer. It doesn't matter if you're on this side of the world and they're on that side. When you have that thought and you adjust your behaviors, actions, words, and everything else because of the control they still have you under psychologically and emotionally and spiritually, it's an immediate energy transfer from you to them. And they can feel it. They perk up wherever they're at. They're like, oh, yeah. Because it's a drug to them. It's an energy transfer, guys. You got to understand this is all energy transference. So you have to cut them off completely. And unfortunately, the way we have to do it nowadays is we have to go and, we have to get no contact orders, no trespass orders, and these types of things. Right? And so that's just necessary. That's what you have to do. But the good thing is, like I said, having to go do that, prior to doing that, you and your husband are going to spend that time together. And finally, you guys have been sitting there and spending that time together and talking about these things. But now you're going to actually get them on paper and make them real. And you'll be amazed when you get that on paper and get it written down and get it typed out, that when it comes out of you in that way, it feels like you left it behind, like you can move forward from it. So when you guys go down and you document by days and dates and incidents and this and that and the other thing, and you document all that down, it's going to be like afterwards, it'll be amazing. Guys, think of it like this. I don't know if you're the same way, but if I don't write out my grocery list, I'll forget. I'll get to the store and I'll forget every fucking thing that I was supposed to get. But if I write it out, I don't even need to pull my fucking list out because I remember. I'm like, okay, I need this. Guys, if it is amazing the power of actually writing it out or typing it out and getting it out in that manner. How all of a sudden, even if you've been talking about it for years and it's like it never goes anywhere and it feels like you're hitting your head against a wall. Once you get it out in that manner, it's like, wow. It's no longer a burden anymore. It's like, wow. And you know why? Because it's been dealt with now. Because it's been properly dealt with. The reason it keeps on coming up and haunting you at every corner and every turn, when you're stressed out and when you're not expecting and everything else, is because it's not been properly dealt with yet. But as soon as you properly deal with it, man, it's like taking that monkey off your back. That burden, it's like taking that burden that's been piling up for the past 20 years on your back, taking it off, and it's like, I can breathe now. So, yeah, this is going to have to be 3 parts, guys. We'll finish this up in the 3rd part here. But I hope this is helping some people. Leave your questions, leave your comments, leave your own experiences. If this is inspiring you to share your story, please, let us know in the comments. Or if you don't feel comfortable, you can email me, richardswink@icloud.com, anonymously, and we'll get your story out there. We'll get your truth out there. We'll get your healing rolling. We'll get answers to your questions. We'll get things made clear in your head. We'll clear up the fog in your head for you, right? Because that's what we're doing here. Okay? So take care of yourselves, guys, because nobody else will. And part 3 coming up next.